Oh, hello, everybody. This is Dirk Allman here with some old-time Christmas programs and December programs that maybe your great-great-grandmother, great-great-grandfather might have practiced in December way back in the early 20th century. And this is from the book Funology, spelled Thunology, Funology by E.O. Harbin, the Book of Good Times, 1,000 Games and Entertainment Plans. Well, these were the plans for December. Things you could do in December time and Christmas time, and here's one called the Snow Frolic, a social for December. Decoration. Cover the floor with white using old sheets, cheesecloth, or a borrowed tarpaulin. Sprinkle the floor with tinsel. Festoon the room with white. Make a snowman by covering 2 bushel baskets with white. Make head by stuffing an old pillowcase, marking with ink eyes, nose, and mouth, and placing an old pipe in the mouth. Make this snowman as realistic as possible and place him in a conspicuous position. Stuff inexpensive presents in around his neck, tying them to white and red strings that shall hang outside. The white string shall be for the girls, and the red for the boys. After the ice guessing contest, have each girl and boy visit the snowman to get a present. The first feature of the evening's fun will be an icicle game. Have a wire stretched across the room. Tie sticks of candy on it. Blindfold the young people as they arrive. Hand each a pair of scissors and let them attempt to clip an icicle. Participants are not allowed to feel around for the wire, but must clip wherever they stop. Divide the crowd into 2 sides for the snowball throwing. This can be done rapidly by having them draw from a hat slips on which are written either white or gold. Captains are appointed for the 2 teams, and they line up for the contest. A target is provided by tacking a sheet on the wall. In the center is a black piece of cheesecloth about 1 foot in diameter. Contestants stand at a distance of something like 15 feet and toss a tennis ball, which has been dipped in a plate of flour at the target. Every hit in the black center counts a point, the sides taking turn in throwing. Announce now that you are to have a snowstorm. In the beginning of the evening, you have given to each girl a small circular piece of white paper on which was written a number. This, you told her, was her snowflake, and that she would need it later in the evening. You didn't explain it further. Following your announcement of the snowstorm, someone goes to the balcony or stands on a chair and calls all the young men to gather beneath him. He has a handful of snowflakes, duplicates of the ones given out to the girls. Each man is instructed to get a snowflake as they descend. He then searches for the girl with the duplicate number, and she becomes his snowflake for the rest of the evening's fun. Isn't that nice there? It's sort of a pairing off. Each young man in his snowflake, his girlfriend's called him snowflake, each young man in his snowflake now work together on an ice guessing contest. It is represented in words that end in ice, I-C-E, or ice, I-S-E. So, here are the various words used in that ice guessing contest. Number 1, the ice of inducement, entice. 2, the fussy ice, precise. 3, the ice most feared by womankind, mice. 4, the ice of gain, dice. 5, the ice that should satisfy, suffice. 6, the ice of religious worship, sacrifice. 7, the aromatic ice, spice. 9, the ice of established value, price. 9, the ice of invention, device. 10, the ice among grains, rice. 11, the miser's ice, avarice. 12, the ice of habit, practice. 13, the Ice of the Faithful Epworth Leaguer service. Sounds like Methodist. 4, Heavenly Ice, Paradise. And 15, the Ice of Peacemakers, Armistice. Immediately on the completion of this contest, announce that the next event will be a frost. Invite about 6 couples to go out of the room. Explain to the rest of the crowd the nature of the frost, and then call in one of the persons sent out of the room. A chair has been arranged. A boy is brought in and directed to the chair, behind which stands a pretty girl. He is then blindfolded. A young man, previously selected, steps noiselessly over from the crowd and kisses the blindfolded victim lightly on the cheek, dropping immediately back into the crowd. The blindfold is taken off, and the young man looks around to see the pretty girl still standing behind a chair. He is invited to take his place with the crowd. A young lady is brought in. A young man stands behind a chair, and the young lady steps over from the crowd and perpetrates the frost. Screams of laughter greet this performance. Refreshments, ice cream, and frosted cake, popcorn balls may also be used. It would be lots of fun to give this social in the spring or summer for the novelty of the thing. In that case, thermometers embedded in ice should be placed in conspicuous positions, and the strings about the snowman's neck, instead of having presents, would have fortunes tied to them. And now here's another thing you can do in December and at Christmas time, a game called Christmas Snowball. Divide your crowd into 2 sides. Line the players up and give a basket decorated with holly and ribbon to the leader of each group. Place on the floor before each line a row of 5 cotton snowballs. The race is now to be run after the fashion of a potato race. The first person picks up the snowballs, puts them in the basket, and returns to deliver the basket to the next in line. This person now replaces the snowballs on the floor in proper place. And so it goes until every player has run the course. And now, some suggestions for that Christmas party. Christmas decorations. Hastily decorate with holly, mistletoe, and red and green crepe paper. Of course, you will want a Christmas tree to give the finished effect. Christmas presents. Write the names of all the members of the club on slips of paper. A week or so before the party, have each one draw a name. Boys' and girls' names may be kept separate if you desire. The drawer is supposed to bring a present to the party for the person whose name appears on his slip. No present shall cost more than 10 cents. Well, that sure dates that. You'd have to get stuff at the dime store. Yes, no present should cost more than 10 cents. The giver may exercise his ingenuity in wrapping the present as well as in addressing it. The packages are all turned in on arrival, when later in the evening Santa Claus distributes them. All packages must be opened in full view of the crowd. Few extra packages should be on hand for persons who may not be members of the club and whose names therefore may not have been handed in. The opening of the packages should occasion a bit of merriment. And here's something called Christmas bells. Give each guest on arrival 10 tiny red paper bells. During the evening, anytime he can get someone to answer him with a yes or no, he collects a bell from them. And anytime he is forgetful and tricked into answering yes or no, he must surrender a bell to the person who has caught him. At the close of the time allotted for this game, some prize is awarded to the person having the largest number of bells in his possession. A variation of this plan is to allow this feature to extend through the entire evening. And now here's something else you can do. Christmas pantomime. That's sort of like acting. Divide your crowd into 3 groups: the Jingles, the Bells, and the Santas. This may be done by having them line up and count off by 3s, thus: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All the ones would form one group, all the twos another, and all the threes the third group. Instruct each group now to plan some sort of original Christmas pantomime. Any activity or presentation representative of the Christmas season will answer. Judges will decide which group presents the best pantomime. And now another fun thing that you can do, called the snowball fight. Each of the three groups now select 10 players to represent them in the snowball fight. The players sit by teams, 9 in each row. The extra player assumes a position about 10 feet in front of his team and midway between the end players. These players are each supplied with a large cotton ball. At the signal to start, the players seated at the left end of each line stand erect, and the pivot players toss the cotton balls to them. Catching the ball, the end man rushes to the pivot position with it. The former pivot man, in the meantime, has rushed for the opposite end of the line, seated himself. All the players having slid up one. The new pivot man turns as soon as he reaches the pivot position and tosses to the man who has slid into his position. The ball must always be received in an upright position, so each player, as he reaches the chair on the left end, immediately arises to receive the toss. The first team to have the original pivot man back at that position is a winner. And finally, Santa's Toy Shop. Assemble all the girls in one room and all the boys in another. Whisper to each girl the name of some toy. Have someone else at the same time give the names of the same list of toys to the boys. When the girls are admitted to the toy shop, each boy represents the toy given him by some appropriate action or sound. Each girl walks about the shop seeking to find a particular toy awarded her, taking charge of it as soon as it is located. Thus, each lady and her toy become partners for refreshment. And that's all there is about December frolics, Christmas party ideas, and programs found in Funology by Joe Harbin, the Book of Good Times, 1,000 Games and Entertainment Plans. Quite an old book. I dare say most of it was from the early 20th century. The way your grandmother, great-great-grandmother, great-great-grandparents, whatever, probably celebrated the holiday season back in December. This is Dirk Allman here for this nice little podcast, giving you talks from old books about old times. So thank you, and have a good evening.